There's a strange paradox playing out in England right now. On one hand, this country is home to some of the most powerful AI labs on earth. It has a world class university system. The city of London still handles trillions in capitals. And tech giants are expanding. Google, Microsoft, Amazon all doubling down on UK operations. But then you walk outside, you see boarded up high streets, NHS backlogs that stretch for months, train strikes, food bank queues. Rents in London are sky high. Wages are frozen while groceries climb 30% year over year. So, what is England really? A rising tech titan or a nation silently sliding into decline? And what will this country look like in 2030? I've lived in England for 8 years. I work in IT. I've watched this country from the inside out. And today, I'm breaking it all down. This is not a hype piece, it's not doom and gloom either. It's a sober, deep dive into the forces shaping England's economic and technological future. If you're planning to live here, work here, invest here, this video is for you. Let's begin. Let's start with the engine of modern economic growth, technology. Because while the UK as a whole has many sectors, finance, energy, services, it's tech that's seen as the great hope. In England, especially London and Cambridge, tech is booming. But how booming is it really? Let's talk numbers. The UK tech industry is valued at over £886 billion or $1.2 trillion, becoming only the third country in the world to cross that threshold after the US and China. 80% of that value is concentrated in England. Let that sink in. This tiny island is punching far above its weight, and it's not just luck. Oxford and Cambridge together produce more AI research papers than any other region in Europe. The Alan Turing Institute in London, it's now considered one of the top centers for ethical AI in the world. Venture capital investment, London alone saw over £11 billion in startup funding last year. That's more than Berlin, Paris, and Amsterdam combined. And yet, despite all this success, the money and the opportunity are not equally distributed. The Golden Triangle, London, Oxford, Cambridge, absorbs nearly half of all tech R&D funding in England. Meanwhile, cities like Sheffield, Newcastle, and Stoke-on-Trent are still struggling to transition into the digital economy. So England is growing, but unevenly. Some parts feel like Silicon Valley, others feel stuck in 1998. And that tension is key to everything we are going to talk about next. Because England is not one economy, it's several, and they are growing apart. Now, let's zoom out. While the tech world talks about AI models and IPOs, most people in England are thinking about something else, surviving the month. Let's look at inflation. In 2022, it peaked at 11.1%, the highest in 40 years. Even now, in 2025, it's hovering around 4%, still above the Bank of England's target of 2%. The damage is already done. Energy bills doubled, food prices soared, rent in Manchester jumped 25% in just 1 year. And what about wages? Flat. Real wages in the UK are still below where they were in 2008 when adjusted for inflation. So let me say this clearly. We are living through the longest period of wage stagnation in modern British history. And no, it's not just because of COVID. This started long before the pandemic. It's the result of low productivity, weak investment, and short-term policymaking. While tech companies enjoy billion-pound valuations, the average worker is worse off than they were 15 years ago. So when politicians say the economy is growing, the question is for who? The FTSE 100 might be rising, but if your grocery bill goes up and your pay doesn't, are you really better off? This is the economic time bomb under England's feet, a country with cutting edge technology and world leading universities, but a broken sense of fairness and a squeezed middle class. Let's talk about something the economic headlines often ignore: the public infrastructure of this country. Because England's economy is not just numbers, it's people, systems, services. And many of those services are breaking. The NHS is under siege, not metaphorically, literally. And as of this year, over 7.5 million people are waiting for treatment. That's 1 in 8 people in England. GP appointments are booked weeks out. Mental health services are overwhelmed. Junior doctors are striking. And it's not just healthcare. Transport is a mess. Train cancellations, industrial action, underinvestment in northern lines while London gets shiny new upgrades. The social contract that once held England together, decent public services in exchange for high taxes, is fraying. And this matters because if you are building a tech powered economy, but your hospitals are underfunded, your trains don't run, and your workers are burning out, what exactly are you building? Let's now talk about something no economic report captures properly: the lived divide. There are two Englands right now, and they might as well be different countries. In one England, you work remotely for a tech firm. You order groceries through an app. You pay £1,500 for a one bedroom flat in Shoreditch, but you have stock options. In the other England, you work at a warehouse in Hull. You take the bus because trains barely run. You have never met a software engineer in your life, and your pay has barely moved in a decade. It's not just geography, it's class, culture, access to capital, digital skills, internet speed, even diet. This is the economic divergence most visible in post industrial towns. In the Northeast, child poverty rates are double those in the South. Life expectancy in Blackpool is lower than in some parts of Romania. Meanwhile, VC firms in London are debating how to price seed rounds for AI startups. It's surreal, isn't it? The tech boom is real, but it's not national. It's urban, elite, and networked. And without a serious rethink, it's going to make inequality worse, not better. Because growth that's not shared becomes resentment, and resentment over time breaks societies. Let's shift focus because the UK has long depended on one thing to balance out these cracks: immigration. And I say this as an immigrant myself. People like me from India, from Europe, or from Africa have helped build the NHS, staff the universities, and now drive the tech economy. But here's the issue: the rhetoric is changing. In 2024, net migration hit 745,000. That led to a political storm: headlines, policies, protests. The government responded with tighter visa rules, salary thresholds, and barriers that directly hit tech companies, startups, and universities. Even the Home Office admitted some sectors might suffer, and they are. Startups are struggling to hire engineers and scientists. Universities are losing international students to Canada and Australia. The NHS desperate for overseas staff but facing red tape. What we are witnessing is a brain drain dilemma in reverse. Instead of losing talent to other countries, we are keeping talent out. Even British born graduates are leaving, moving to Germany, the US, or Dubai, where housing is cheaper and career paths clearer. This is not sustainable. If England wants to be a tech superpower, it needs immigration, integration, and inclusion. Closing the door might win short term votes, but it guarantees long term decline. So, here's the big question: can technology actually save England's economy? Let's examine the evidence. Start with AI. The UK is one of the few countries globally with both advanced AI research and real world application. DeepMind, based in London, is now part of Google's most advanced AI division. Startups like Synthesia are building AI generated video tools that are transforming content creation. In fintech, Revolut, Monzo, Wise are not just buzzwords. They are redefining banking and payments for millions of users across Europe. Then there is clean tech, with innovation hubs in Oxford and Bristol working on carbon capture, fusion energy, and electric transport. These sectors are creating high paying jobs, attracting global capital, and shaping the industries of the future. But, and this is important, tech alone can't fix systemic issues. You can't innovate your way out of bad housing policy. You can't AI your way through an underfunded NHS. And you definitely can't fintech your way around food insecurity. What tech can do is amplify. It can amplify progress if the fundamentals are sound, or it can amplify inequality if left unchecked. Which path England takes depends not on the code but the policy, not on the startup but the system. Let me pause the analysis for a moment and speak from experience. I've lived in England for nearly a decade now. I've worked in IT, paid my taxes, built a career here. I've seen the energy of London's tech scene, the depth of research in Cambridge, the diversity of Birmingham, the resilience of everyday people. But I've also seen the exhaustion, the bureaucracy, the silent decline of public services, the quiet frustration of workers who feel stuck, the friends who left for better lives abroad. It's not simple. This country gave me opportunity, and for that I'm very grateful. But I also see a country unsure of what it wants to be. Does it want to lead in technology or pull up the drawbridge? Does it want to fix the housing crisis or just blame immigration? Does it want a digital economy or nostalgic sovereignty? England is at a crossroads, and the decisions made today will echo for decades. Let me offer two futures. Future 1, England 2030, the tech renaissance. In this version, the country embraces innovation and inclusion. It reforms planning laws, builds affordable housing, and decentralizes investment to the north. It invites global talent, retools the NHS, and funds education for the jobs of tomorrow. The result? A balanced, digital first economy with rising wages, lower inequality, and restored public trust. Now, the other path, Future 2, England 2030, the Great Decline. In this version, political short termism wins. Immigration is slashed, tech is over regulated, regions remain ignored. The NHS buckles, young people leave. The economy staggers on, propped up by old money and city finance, but with no real growth. Social tension rises, public trust collapses, and by 2030, England is no longer seen as a leader but a cautionary tale. We still have time, but the window is closing. So, is England a tech superpower? Yes, but it's also an economic time bomb. Whether it explodes or evolves depends on how it shapes tomorrow. Policy, vision, people, courage. I've laid out the facts, now I want to hear from you. Do you believe in England's future? Are you optimistic, frustrated, ready to leave, ready to build? Tell me in the comments, I read everyone. And if you found this video thought-provoking, please like, share and subscribe. This channel is all about real analysis, honest perspective and building clarity in a noisy world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.